work.
Yes. Let me ask you this question. I want to ask both of you. Let me start by asking you, Mr. Bose, because we tried to ask the Finance Minister this question. From the 1st of April 2014, if nothing else changes in the world, gas prices effectively should go from $4.2 to $8 per MMBTU. The Finance Minister publicly had stated that end users or consumer industries will not have to bear the full burden of this increase as far as the gas prices are concerned, which basically means that the government is going to provide some sort of a subsidy to the power sector, to the fertilizer sector. That doesn't seem to have been accounted for as far as your budget math is concerned.
As far as the subsidies are concerned, the major subsidies, we have discussed with the ministries concerned, and we have arrived at the numbers after discussion with the ministries.
So you have you have taken into consideration the fact that gas prices are going to go up from $4.2 to $8 per barrel.
I'm not going into the specifics of what that has gone in, but I'm saying all this is after full deliberations with the ministries.
Mr. Watal, do you want to come in on that? Simple answer, sir. Has gas been factored in or not?
I'll tell you on the gas side also. I mean, how much of gas is going into use or to generate power? I mean, that itself is a question. So what kind of impact it will have is also a question which...
so it hasn't been factored in?
It has been factored in too, but I mean, most of your, if you see, the power is being generated out of coal and other fossil fuels. I mean,
but gas is a significant component as well, and it's not just power, it's also fertilizer.
Yes, and it has been factored in, and it will be taken into account.
So whatever you have,
what we have
set aside as far as the oil subsidy is concerned, takes into consideration the hike in gas prices from $4.2 to $8.
Absolutely.
All right, let me ask you, Mr. Bose, on the issue of excise, and this is an interim budget, and the Finance Minister had made it very clear that direct tax, because of convention, you cannot touch, and even on indirect tax, there will be clarificatory perhaps changes. But on the indirect tax front, sir, the auto industry has been crying itself hoarse for the last 12-24 months. Could this not have been done last year? Why this year? Because you only have a limited window of 4 months. So the question is it really going to make a significant difference?
See, a short while ago in the press conference, Finance Minister explained that a lot of these decisions depend on data. And the data we had on growth, we now have it. We have what has happened in the first 2 quarters of this year, and we are now looking forward to better growth in the next 2 quarters. But even as we sort of look at the numbers of growth, as it has improved from 4.4 to 4.8, we find that certain sectors, such as auto, still lagging behind. So it was felt that it can't wait till July for the new, or June, for the new government to come and take that decision. We should take this decision, then leave it to the next government.
So you basically trap the next government into continuing with this, because it's going to be very hard for the next government to come in and sort of do what would seem like an unpopular move of actually hiking excise duties for a sector that seems to be crippled at this point in time.
I think in the past too, excise duties were cut, and they have, we went back to 12%, and so it's not that it's not possible. It is supposed to be that way. I mean, if you're talking about a sectors, we're talking about sector specific. It's not across the board. We are talking about sector specific, and we are talking about capital goods and consumer non-durables. That's where the
I want to ask you this question on the SUV excise duty, sir. And we had this conversation last year when you were here in exactly this same room, and I asked you about the logic for actually imposing that SUV tax. And a year later, that logic doesn't seem to apply anymore. How does that make any sense?
Oh, I think we can't be fixed. Our decisions cannot be fixed in time. Look at the numbers. We've been confronted with the numbers of declining numbers in auto. It's affecting employment. So we hope that giving this excise cuts will revive demand. They'll sell more cars, and maybe revenue will also not be affected.
Let me ask you a question now as far as the Vodafone conciliation process is concerned, sir. A tax notice had been sent to Vodafone. The notice was held in abeyance on account of the conciliation proceedings. Now that conciliation proceedings have reached a dead end and cabinet approval is being sought to call off the conciliation proceedings, what happens to the tax notice to Vodafone?
I cannot anticipate the cabinet decision on this.
But if the cabinet says All right, call off the conciliation.
No.
What happens to the tax notice?
At this moment, Shereen, it will not be proper for me to anticipate a cabinet decision and tell you what will be the consequences following. Let the cabinet take a view on this.
But will a fresh tax notice have to be sent?
I do not know. That's a technical part you're getting me into. Let the cabinet take a view, then we'll work it out.
Okay, I was trying my luck with you, Mr. Bose, as far as Vodafone is concerned. But let me ask you, sir, as far as expenditure is concerned, and really, there has been applause-worthy discipline that has, in a sense, been brought in as far as the fiscal austerity is concerned to actually achieve the numbers that you've been able to achieve. The question is, it has had an adverse impact on growth. And now when you're talking about 4.1% for the next financial year, which is an even more aggressive target than this year, do you believe that if expenditure cuts were to be even more severe, growth will suffer?
I said in the beginning, we have not gone in for expenditure cuts. They were actually the rationalization of government expenditure.
Rationalization cuts?
No,
so
rationalization is the same. You don't actually, I don't want the taxpayers' money to be it's put into some pipeline over there, it's parked somewhere where it is not used. All these little things which have been done in the last 3-4 months is basically to see that these monies are just efficiently spent. Now you take, as the finance minister said, all our flagship programs on the social welfare side, nothing has really been cut. In fact, we have disintermediated in the sense that these centrally sponsored schemes where there has been a change, now the money will be actually transferred to the state governments. To that extent, one level is being cut out and the departments will be looking at all these things, and whether it's education or health or all those schemes or women and child development, they'll be handled by the states. And if you see the figures, in fact, they have not been less, if not, they've been more what has been budgeted for. So I don't agree that, that our austerity, which I don't believe, is actually going to cause any adverse effect on growth. In fact, once you have a good fiscal management, it leads to a lot of other good externalities which help the economy. So I don't think it'll hurt us or be adverse to our requirements.
Mr. Bose, another thing which the government must get credit for is the way that you've been able to actually bring down the current account deficit and the measures that were imposed in consonance with the Reserve Bank of India to be able to tackle the CAD. The finance minister, when he read out his vision for the future, said that as far as current account deficit is concerned, we need dollars, and hence we must have no aversion as far as foreign direct investment or FII or ECBs are concerned. But do you believe that where we find the rupee today and the fact that you are expected to even better your own target as far as the current account deficit is concerned, that perhaps the time has come to revisit the entire issue as far as restrictions are concerned, or will that now be the next government's problem in a sense?
Are you referring to gold?
Yes.
See, gold, as you may have seen and noticed, in fact, gold jumped up last month, the gold imports. So, I mean, while it may seem that we have, and we certainly have controlled gold, it's, I think, too early to take our eye off that ball, because gold went up significantly, doubled. The import of gold doubled last month. So we are still worried about gold.
Okay.
So we have to keep watch on gold till 31st March, then take a call.
So you're saying post 31st March, you will review your position as far as the gold restrictions are concerned?
Yes, certainly.
But at this point,